Today we are going to discuss the application and care of taf133, a new and revolutionary floor finish coating designed for use on VCT tile floors. This revolutionary finish technology is an environmentally friendly, safe, and durable alternative to wax. It completely eliminates the stripping cycles associated with waxing and is easy to apply and to maintain. Since taf is an inorganic microfilm forming copolymer, it cures quickly and forms an extremely durable protective clear film that penetrates, seals, and protects the floor surface from scratches, graying, yellowing, and stains. Now let's get started with an application of taf133. But first, let's review the preparation guide. There are really 8 simple steps to a successful taf installation. These 8 steps include strip the floor, neutralize with a neutral pH detergent, apply a first coat of taf133. Once the floor is completely dry, polish with a high-speed burnisher and an 800 grit twister pad. Then remove all the dust and debris off the floor. After the dust and debris are removed from the floor, then you'll apply your second coat of taf133. Once it is dry, you'll polish the floor, and then the floor is ready for service. Now let's get started with our first step, stripping the floor. First, you'll want to remove all of the wax from the floor using a conventional stripping method. Survey the floor to ensure that all the wax residue has been removed. Then neutralize the floor in preparation of the taf coating being applied. After removing all of the wax from the floor, be careful to survey the entire floor looking for wax residue. Again, because taf is not a wax product, it does need all of the wax removed from the surface of the floor to properly adhere to the VCT tile. Look for dark spots on the floor surface. These are good indicators of wax residue, and they will need to be stripped before continuing on. Once you're sure that the floor is completely stripped and free of all residue, then use a neutral cleaner to neutralize the floor in an auto scrubber, and after it's dried, then prepare to apply the taf coating. You'll want to make sure that all water spots have evaporated off the floor completely, and give it maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'll be ready for the application of the product. Now it's time to start the application of the taf133 coating. Now this would be very similar to a wax application with just a few differences that we'll point out along the way. There are just a few things that we'll need to get started. First, we'll need a microfiber mop and pail. Second, we'll need enough inventory of taf to do the entire floor surface intended to be treated. Thirdly, you'll need a white 800 grit twister pad. And fourthly, you'll need a cordless mixer to mix the product prior to dispensing in the pail. Now let's apply some product. First of all, remember that this is only a 2-coat system. So we're going to apply taf across the entire floor with coat 1. Then we'll burnish after it is dried. Then we'll apply our second coat, and we'll burnish again, and the floor will be ready for service. Once you've covered the entire floor with the taf coating, you'll want to allow it to dry until all of the water spots have been evaporated. Give it about another 10 minutes, and then you'll be ready to burnish. You may use a fan or a series of fans in order to accelerate the drying as well. If fans are used, you'll want to make sure that you've allowed the coating sufficient time to set before turning the fans on. This is usually done in about 5 or 7 minutes. Now that the floor is dry, use your white pad and polish the entire floor with a high-speed burnisher until the floor is completely polished. When you've completely polished the first coat using your white twister pad, you can immediately apply the second coat of finish. Now that the first coat is completely polished, without delay we can immediately begin applying our second coat of taf133. Notice how easy it is to apply the taf. Put a liberal coat down first, and then float it from left to right, overlapping the previous wet edge as you move across the floor. Be careful not to work it too much, as it could damage the polish or the amount of shine that you'll receive on the floor. Now allow the second coat to dry as before until all wet spots have completely evaporated. Give it about another 10 minutes and then begin burnishing the floor. The results speak for themselves. You should end up with a polish value between 72 to 85 depending on the condition of the VCT tile. So in the real world, you can turn dull and difficult to manage VCT tile floors into bright, vibrant, clean-looking floors that will last a long time. Depending upon the traffic, many floors will go over a year before they'll need even a refresher coat applied to the surface. Now that your taf installation is complete, a few simple care and maintenance steps will keep the floor looking great for a long period of time. First of all, be careful not to use any materials that have butyl in them, such as degreasers, floor extenders, spray and buff types of products, as these butyl-containing products will damage the taf coating. Besides avoiding these types of chemicals, the only other steps required to keep your floor looking its best is to use an auto scrubber in an aggressive cleaning mode and periodically buffing or polishing your floor using the white twister pad. Simply stated, this eco-friendly floor finish system is the right choice for your floor care needs.